We're live from eMerge Americas, and I'm here with my dear friend, Jane Wooldridge, director at the Miami Herald. Welcome, Jane.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy to be with you. I'm always happy to be at eMerge. It's all good.
All good, great energy, so many people.
It's a great day. You know, I've been doing the eMerge thing since before it existed, and we used to sit in committee rooms and talk about this great idea that Manny had. And it's become something quite special. I think it started as something special, but over the years it's a little different every year. It's really interesting.
No, and it's grown every year, right? And now it's become a staple event.
It really is great, and you know that this is the place you're going to see tech people and tech people of substance. You know, last year, I was saying this on stage, last year we were all about crypto. Now, I don't know where crypto goes, okay, but I know that eMerge always brings together people who are going to be here, who are substantive, and it's one of the great things about it.
And that we're all going to build it as a community together.
Yes, and this is, for me, it's the community meeting point for this industry.
I agree. Okay, so do you want to share a little bit about your journey? What a journey. It's been so impressive. You've been covering business, economic development, visual arts, tourism, so much. Tell us a little bit about your journey at the Miami Herald.
Well, it's been a long one, and we're not saying how long because it's been a really long one.
That's fine. They don't need to know that.
But I came here as a child, and I came to the Miami Herald almost as a child. It feels like that. And it's really true. I've been really fortunate to do a lot of different things over the years. So I have done fashion, travel, community, a lot of community and nonprofit. I was a business columnist for a while. I was the business editor for a while. I was the travel editor for a while. I've done visual arts. It's been a place, I think one of the things that's great about journalism is you can have a lot of different careers in one career. And for me, journalism's really a form of community service. It's really important that we have factual information and that we use journalism to bring people together.
It's so important, and the research that goes into good journalism, because nowadays, yes, we love technology, we love digital media, but you know that also brings a lot of fake news, so we do need good journalism.
Well, I can promise you that while we are not always perfect at the Miami Herald, because we are human beings and not machines, we really, people are sometimes aghast to learn how deep the research is, but there's a lot of work that goes into what we do to verifying that it's accurate, that the documents we have are genuine. I mean, and it scares us a little bit when it comes to AI, that it's going to be so easy to increase disinformation.
Yes.
And that's bad for all of us.
I agree.
So even if you're not number one on the Miami Herald and that's not your favorite pub, I would say that you absolutely want to go to legitimate journalism sources to get your information, and that does not necessarily mean the internet. Although we're all on the internet, but it takes a little work.
Couldn't agree more with you.
Okay.
So
Good.
We're good on that.
Thanks.
And in your experience as a journalist, what are some of the most significant trends or stories that you have covered related to Miami's growing tech scene and business ecosystem?
Well, Miami, when I came here a long time ago, was really a boom and bust town. And you'd have these giant booms that were mostly fueled by Latin American investors coming here to buy real estate. And then Latin America's economy would go tank, and so would we. And it was one bounce to the next. That's changed so much. I think we're more diverse than we've ever been. It's not just people from Latin America. It's not just people from the Caribbean, but it is also people from everywhere in Latin America and everywhere in the Caribbean and Europe. And occasionally you even see some Asians in town, and the Canadians come, and New Yorkers, those bizarre people from New York. I was one, okay? I came here from New York. So what I've seen is a little bit of a maturation of an economy. We're no longer all about real estate, and we're no longer all about Latin America. We're more diverse. Technology has become, over the last 10, 12 years, a really important part of our economy. Art has actually been a big driver of our economy. So we're more diversified than we have been, and we've still got a ways to go.
Oh, there's so much we can do. This is still an early stage ecosystem, right? There's so many startups, but we still need to get those growth companies who are going to really drive our economic development.
Well, somebody said to me the other day, and I think this is right, that we've gone from the place where we were adolescents just a little bit further up maybe we're in high school now.
We went to the prom.
We went to the prom. It's a good go. So we're growing and getting a little more adult, but what's great about Miami is that we have endless possibilities here in a way that is not true everywhere. And so because we're not a fully formed universe here, there's lots of room and opportunity and enthusiasm for new and interesting, and if you just want to work and engage here, we're happy to have you, and you make a real impact.
Yeah, I mean, we're evolving, right? We're going from adolescent to adulthood and getting more savvy and mature. Are there any trends that you're seeing, that any industries that are driving this evolution?
I think really it is, it's that combination of factors that it is more diversified. I think it all feeds in together, but the influx of people from New York and California obviously has been a huge thing for all of us. And I think most of that's good. Where I think we need to be cautious is most people don't realize that about 54% of the people who live in Miami-Dade County are living on the financial edge. And 54% are at it's called the Alice level, and they're either at the Alice level or below it or in poverty. And so we as a community, if we want to be a strong community, we need to ensure that there is true economic opportunity for everybody who wants to work.
I agree.
And I think that's what's in our hearts, but we don't always get there, and we will not thrive if 54% of the people who live here end up having to leave because they can't afford to live here.
Yeah, and some of these people are the ones who work in the leisure and tourism industry, which is huge in Miami. So where are they going to live?
Well, that's the question. It's the people who are gardeners, people who are work in hotels, people who are teachers, people who are firefighters and policemen. This is what it takes to make a community. So we got to have a way for everybody to make it here. And right now we can use some improvement on that point.
Okay. Well, as a community, we all need to feel responsible for that, right?
Yes,
Come
we do.
together to help.
And
be inclusive.
And to be intentional about it. That's all. It's easy to feel bad. It's not so easy to say, what can I strategically do in my world to work with others to make this a better place?
How can we all put something, because if we all collectively support this together, then we can make a difference.
And that's one of the things really Endeavor does. I think about Endeavor as it's this ecosystem for helping people grow to the next stage.
Yes.
And that's Endeavor is a great model for everything else here, because it is people coming together to lift the boat.
And we help startups all the way to an IPO or exit, and we build the community, because we always say community is number one for entrepreneurs. Being an entrepreneur is a very lonely ride. And so when you feel alone, you have all that pressure on your shoulders, we say no. You have a lot of people around you to help you, mentors, advisors, this amazing, vibrant community in Miami.
It's really important. I know this last few years of working at home, there are days where you just haven't looked at anything outside that computer and you're thinking, what am I going to do? And then the next day you see a human and your life changes again. But it's a lot to work solo.
Yes, I
It
agree.
really is.
And as someone who has covered so much of Miami's business growth and developments, what are the latest developments that you're seeing, and what sources or strategies do you use to ensure your reporting is constantly and remains accurate and relevant?
Well, the most important thing we can ever do as journalists is talk to people and listen. And more important than talking to them, listening to them. So I'm always interested to know what it is that other people are seeing in their experiences. What are they hearing? What do they hear people talking about? What's their viewpoint? Yes, you all want the scoop, okay? There's no question. But really the most important thing we do is listen. And that's been, when you're on a fast and hard deadline, that's not always something that happens. But when you get that breather, that's the value. And so I love coming to things like eMerge because I had to talk to all kinds of people and I learned how did SVB's failure affect them, or what project are they working on, or where do they see as the next opportunity. And when you collect a lot of information like that, sometimes you begin to see trends. And I think really what's happening in Miami now is a maturation. That's the biggest thing for me, is that we're starting to get just a little bit savvier about our business world here, and that means that we can be a little bit more intentional.
So what are your thoughts about the future of Miami's tech ecosystem on that line?
Well, I think the future of Miami's tech ecosystem probably involves both a winnowing of, ideas or people or businesses that weren't ready for prime time. And that's been going on, and I think it needs to go on. And then, but you have to make sure that there's still opportunity and hope for people. But yeah, I remember 2 years ago, everybody called themselves an entrepreneur. Not everybody's an entrepreneur, and not everybody should be an entrepreneur, wants to be an entrepreneur. I was talking to somebody today. There's a big difference between a founder and an operator of a company or a business. And the world needs both.
Yes.
It needs both. And we're starting to figure that out here.
And the leaders and the founders who are building these companies also need to understand what are their skill sets and when do they need to bring an operator and step down.
That is so true. I mean, I see a lot of cases where, I get it. It's your baby. You don't want to give it up.
Nope.
But you know what? If your baby's going to grow, you need to bring in the next teacher. So
that's true.
Yeah.
We need the baby to become an adolescent.
That's right.
So what are you seeing? I mean, Miami Herald covers a lot of the local, everything that's happening in Miami and beyond Miami, right? Florida. What are you seeing, and what are Miami Herald's insights, I would say?
Well, I'm not sure I have particular insights, I think we have some insights, but I think what we're seeing is that what everybody's saying, which is it's a change time, that the influx of new people can be a really strong and positive thing, but it has its downsides, and we need to all work together to see that we are coalescing. And I had a group of people over to my house recently who were new people. Okay, we'll put that in.
New friends.
And what people said was, thank you so much for inviting us to your home.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's easy to forget when you live in a place for a while that other people, it means something to them to get an invitation to your home. That's how they grow. That's how they become home here. That's how this becomes their home.
Yep.
And so, it's not just meeting for coffee at Panther.
No. And look, that's what a couple of people just today told me. They've been so welcome in Miami, feeling the good energy. People are so nice, and you inviting new people to your home. Like, not many people do that. Like, I've lived in different countries around the world,
Yeah.
and some cultures are very closed. They don't open the home to.
It's a U.S. thing, We like to have people over. I grew up in the American South, which is a place that has plenty of drawbacks. But the great thing about the South is the warmth of hospitality. You come on over, honey. Let me bring you a
Love it.
pie.
I love it.
And those are the things that help us become community, and that's what we need to be.
Couldn't agree more. And we need more people like Jane, inviting to their home, having fun.
Well, I enjoy it, and that's why I do
Well, that's
it.
the most important thing. And before we go, I just wanted to thank you because Miami Herald has been such a great partner of Endeavor Miami. We've ran the pitch competition the last 2 years thanks to you. And so thank you so much.
Well, thank you for that, but I want to say thank you to Endeavor for helping us with the pitch competition. Our business editor couldn't be here today, but I know Paul really appreciates everything
Glad.
you all are doing.
Well, we hope to continue supporting Miami Herald and build our partnership to new heights. So thank you so much, Jane,
Thank
for
you.
everything that you've done for the city. It's
well,
been an
thank
impressive
you.
ride.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for
Take
joining me
care.
today. Thank you. Oh.